To begin with, one of the things these so-called women in danger films all have in common is that they portray women as helpless victims. And after you've sat through a dozen or so of these films, as Jean and I have unfortunately had to, they all fall into the same pattern. A woman or a young girl is shown alone, isolated, and defenseless, and then come suspense-building scenes where the girl thinks she's about to be attacked, but she isn't. And then, just when you think everything's going to be okay and nothing's going to happen, a crazy killer springs out of the shadows and attacks her. And unfortunately, the audiences that go to them don't seem to like women too much either. Now, we go to see these films and
I think that the misconception of horror being anti-woman as a whole comes from the fact that it can be very violent and derogatory towards women.
In the beginnings of horror, women were pigeonholed as victims. There was a lot of just hot running around with their tits out screaming until you got killed.
But I think the opposite is also true. I think horror is one genre where we see really, really complex, fully developed female characters, both as the heroes and the monsters, who have these multidimensional backstories and are motivated by desires that are complex and not like one facet.
The horror film community is vast and intense and very loyal and embracing.
I think being able to identify with some aspect of an experience in horror can be an empowering thing. I think I found a home in horror because for me, horror can be cathartic and empowering, even educational.
Definitely people have told me that these films have made them feel better about themselves, made them more confident to express who they really are to their family and friends. They've gotten them through suicidal patches and depression, and it's immensely important, I think, for everybody to find something that they can just tune into where they see some part of themselves and their humanity reflected back to them. When you find something like that, grab it and hold on to it.
When I read or watch horror and I see a woman or someone in a marginalized, community surviving, fighting back, that for me is inspirational. And I think that I internalize that survivor mentality.
I think we have a unique perspective on how horrific the human experience can be in a female body. And I think that's something that male horror filmmakers actually lack, is a bit of that, the gut feeling that females get when we know we're in danger or in trouble. And I think as a female creative in the horror genre, I think they're more able to exploit that, and that can sometimes get a much creepier vibe. I think horror has the potential to be feminist, and I think it's inevitable for the horror genre to be more feminist. Again, I think we're fairly sick of the male point of view when it comes to horror.
So I think that we need to be asking people in minority groups, queer folks, people of all different races, all different, physical and mental abilities. We need to be asking those people what is next in horror, because those are the people that should be telling the story.